Hi, everyone. I'm Felicia Malelli, Board Chair for New Jersey Public Health Innovation PAC. I'm also joined by Rula, one of our Board of Directors.
Good evening, everyone.
Thanks for joining us this evening for the interview with the Legislative District 26 team, which includes Incumbent Senator Joe Pennacchio and Assemblyman Jay Weber, with newcomer Christian Barranco. Christian won the primaries on June 8th and will be running in the general election for the assembly seat in this district. We will bring them on very shortly. And we also have a special announcement for you tonight, so stay tuned for that. If this is your first time tuning in with us at NJPHIPAC, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. NJPHIPAC is a grassroots, nonpartisan, nonprofit political action committee. And our mission is to protect and strengthen the constitutionally guaranteed and fundamental rights of all New Jersey residents to make medical decisions for themselves and their families without coercion or undue constraint. And one of the ways that we do this is by elevating the candidates that align with our mission. And NJPHIPAC has a strategic internal process for selecting which candidates to support and endorse. And Rula is going to walk you through that process.
So before we introduce this evening's candidates, I wanted to briefly go over what the NJPHIPAC endorsement process looks like. NJPHIPAC has developed a set of standards to measure whether a political candidate is eligible to receive an endorsement. This includes, but is not limited to, the NJPHIPAC survey, the candidate's voting history, and their positions on matters that affect our mission. When NJPHIPAC endorses a candidate, the endorsement is done with integrity and measured without bias. Our goal is to provide transparency around candidates who meet this criteria and be a resource to New Jersey voters in 2021. When you see an NJPHIPAC endorsement and our gold seal, you can rest assured that this is the best candidate for our collective mission.
Thank you, Rula.
Sure.
On this past June 9th, the PAC released our first general election endorsement of Jack Ciattarelli for governor. And tonight, we are excited to announce our first district endorsement to the District 26 team, which is our guest this evening. As I mentioned prior, it's Incumbent Senator Joe Pennacchio and Assemblyman Jay Weber, with Christian Barranco, who again just won the primary and will be running for the general election for the assembly seat in this district. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome them. Give me 1 second. Okay, Rula.
Yeah. Okay, so we are going to start off the evening. We are really excited to have you on as our first district endorsement of the 2021 election year. We figured we'd start out with a few questions. Tell us about yourself. And these questions go to all of you. We can start with you, Senator. You can answer first. Assemblyman Weber, you next. And Christian Barranco last. So tell us a bit about yourself. What is your profession outside of politics? What was your segue into politics in New Jersey? How long have you been in politics? Just a little background. So if you'd like to go first, Senator.
Sure, thank you, Rula. I'm a transplanted New Yorker. I'm a Brooklyn boy, born and bred in Bensonhurst. Managed to go through the city college school system, graduating Brooklyn College, and then to NYU School of Dentistry. Became a dentist, oh my goodness, well over 40 years ago. At that time, decided that we wanted to have our children grow up with grass underneath their feet. we're going to decide to move to New Jersey. Taxes are low, business climate was good, educational system was great. Even car insurance was more affordable than it was in the city. My how things have changed. I always had a desire to get involved in politics. I remember as a small boy watching John Kennedy on television, and then his brother Bobby. And to me, it was interesting to see that people would be led by these people. They would draw crowds of people, and people would be attached to them. And I like that. I like the ability that they had and that we have as elected officials to affect change and to make people's lives better and to give them a direction and purpose. So that's how I got involved in politics. Initially, it was just fundraising, and then ran, lost, ran, won, ran, lost, and then ran, and won.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the Kennedys and the crowds they would draw, and you have certainly spoken to the crowds of us in the medical freedom community several times, and you've captured the hearts and many of us. So thank you, and thank you for that introduction. Assemblyman Weber.
Good evening, Felicia and Rula. Thanks for having us. Thank you for your support in this year's election. I didn't realize we were your first endorsement, so that's pretty great. Thank you so much for everything you're doing for this community and for the state. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I grew up in Passaic County in Clifton, and met my wife in law school. And I will admit, and she will tell you, that I'm the second best lawyer in our family. Johanna is a wonderful professional. She plies her trade now, chasing our 8 children, being a prosecutor and a judge and a mediator and an arbitrator, all rolled into one. So life is pretty crazy in the Weber household. Our oldest actually is a second-year cadet now at the Air Force Academy, and our youngest is 20 months old. And in between, we have a lot of swimming and a lot of baseball and a lot of girls lacrosse and just a lot. So we really are blessed to live in a great state that has so much going for it, and has the geographic location between New York and Philadelphia, and incredible schools. And an economy that should be the envy of the country and really the envy of the world. We have the smartest and toughest and most interesting people, I think, in the world here in New Jersey. And what we have are bad laws and bad leaders. And that's really the cause of a lot of our challenges in New Jersey. And the good news is that we can change bad laws, we can change bad leaders. And so I've been involved with politics really in college a little bit as an intern on Capitol Hill. When I got out of college, working for a member of Congress. He's now a federal judge in Newark, Bill Martini. And then running out here in Morris County, as similar to Joe, lost my first race, but was able to win a seat in the assembly and has been serving Morris, Passaic, and now Essex counties for the last 13 years or so, and hope to do it for another 2. So with your help, I will, and we'll try to make New Jersey a better place for families like mine and yours.
Wow. So you are certainly a model that someone can do it all.
Well, we try.
Thank you. Christian Barranco, the stage is yours.
Thank you. So thank you, Rula and Felicia. What you guys do is invaluable. I'm sure that this is not very profitable and gainful for you. I'm sure you do this because you believe in something. And we need more people in New Jersey that take the time and effort the way you guys do, without any particular gain, to try and make things better for for the people of New Jersey and for the issues that you believe in. So I commend you on that. I am an electrician by trade. I am a local 102, IBW local 102 member. I'm a private sector tradesman. I am a project manager now by title. I manage utility level construction projects for PSE&G and JCP&L, Eversource in Connecticut, and PPL in Pennsylvania. We do a lot of infrastructure projects. I got into politics in 2010. My third and final child was born. And I realized at that moment that if we don't get involved, we're going to wind up with a government and a state that we don't like. So I started the process of learning how to get involved, learning how to get elected, meeting all the people I needed to meet to make that happen, because it's not easy. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of acquaintance, a lot of friends, a lot of people that are involved in government and in the party. And that work started in 2013, 2000, through that period of time there where I was kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So in 2016, I was elected to the Pompton Lakes Council, of which I only served 2 years of my term, because my wife said she wanted to move to Morris County. So we bought a house in Morris County and we left. So I had to rescind my term and have it filled by the party in Pompton Lakes. So the final question, I believe, is why am I running for office? Something to that effect, right?
Yeah.
So it's very simple. I believe in the old American model of the citizen legislator. I do not believe in professional legislators. I believe that you serve your government, you serve your people, and when your time is done, you get out. That is a dying concept in this country, and I think that it's getting us in trouble. I don't believe that it takes a village. I believe that it takes parents. I think parents have 100% sovereignty as to what their children learn, how their children dress. Parents are the people that rule a child's life until they're such age that they can do so on their own. So there's a lot behind. I can go on forever. There's a lot behind the impetus to do this. I am, as you can tell, a very proud father of 3 children. They're all in Catholic schools. Luckily for my wife and I, we're able to do that. And I think it's time that Joe, Jay, and myself go down to Trenton and start winning some hearts and minds and change the conversation. I think that I'm uniquely positioned to do that as a tradesman, as a person who is not an attorney or an accountant or a business owner. I'm a guy that just puts his pants on in the morning and goes to work. And I don't see me stopping working anytime soon.
Amazing. Well,
that's my story.
Congratulations again on winning the primary. And
let me just assure everyone right now, I'm sorry for
yeah.
I wear my pants to work every day. Let's dispel that rumor right now. And let Donald Payne become.
You don't wear pants. You wear slacks.
Thank you for clarifying, because I was worried after he made that statement that some people show up to work with no pants on. So thank you, Assemblyman, for clarifying.
We just had to make that very, very clear.
Yes, I think the audience was wondering the same, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I just wanted to mention that I'm blessed to live in a district with these 3 amazing candidates and the incumbents here. And I have had experiences with all 3 of them that I just wanted to point out, starting with Senator Pernaccio. I met Senator Pernaccio after reaching out to him with my concerns over the religious exemption bill. I called the office with the concerns, and he welcomed me into his office. I went in, and I basically was like, what do we do? What can I do? We were talking about different bills that he had going on, and was bringing to the table, and we were brainstorming ideas. And And he said something to me, and I hope I don't get it wrong this time when I reiterate it, but he said to me that everything is politics. And in that moment, for me, it was like the rubber band on a bow and arrow that just went like back and forth in my head. And I'm like, oh goodness, I realized what I have to do. And I ran with it. And that's why I'm here today. And I can't say that it's a blessing to be in this fight, but I'm surrounded by amazing people, and I'm lucky that I have this kind of support in this district, and I know our community feels the same. So I just wanted to bring that up for in regards to Senator Pernaccio, and then Assemblyman Weber. He's always been very gracious to me and welcoming, and I've seen him with many parents and listening to the constituents in the district, becoming very outwardly supporting this movement. And I recently bumped into him at Assemblyman Weber at the Montville unmasking protest. He came bright and early in the morning to stand among us and be meeting us exactly where we are. And I really respect you for that, and thank you for being there. And then again, a big congratulations to you, Christian, for winning the primary. I know you it was well deserved, and worked hard with campaigning and getting out there and letting your messages be heard, and so many people resonated with that, and that's why you're here now. My fun experience with him is I called him up and to invite him to this event tonight, this live, and he answers the phone and he sounds a little displaced, and he said, I'm sorry, I wanted to answer your call. He's like, but I'm actually online for the Velocicoaster in Universal Studios. So, I mean, that's what kind of guy this is, that he's answering my phone call and being there to support the constituents. And
sweating and sunburned, by the way.
Yeah. So I just wanted to mention those. So thank you guys very much. So we wanted to dive a little deeper, Senator Pernaccio. We know that you have sponsored many bills around medical freedom and parental rights, and co-sponsored both pre-COVID and some more current ones. I guess with the question for me is, with the Democratic majority, do you see anyone across the aisle supporting these bills, and how can our community help build momentum around them? And please, speak to the ones that you feel are most relevant to let everybody know.
It's funny that you're asking me for advice when I took solace in those thousands of people protesting for medical freedom that cold, rainy, wintry January day. You recharged my batteries. You restored my faith, because I don't come from a family of politicians. To me, I actually bought into this idea of our founding fathers, traditional Americana, and to think that people could actually effectuate change. You changed that vote. I walked into that chamber, no doubt, knowing that they were going to vote to end the medical, the religious freedom exemption, and that drum just kept banging and banging and banging, and you didn't stop. And thank you for that. So you should be telling and lecturing me on what we could do to make this a better place and to effectuate change than me telling you. But most of the bills that we dropped in deal with parental rights and deal with advice and consent. Could you imagine that? Actually getting to know before that needle is stuck in that child's arm, what's in it? Is it safe? Does it work? What happens when you mix it with the other 60 vaccines that kids get? Initially, I'm not an anti-vaxxer, so I'm still not an anti-vaxxer. But it's very easy for me to say that, because in my age group, by the time I was 18, I had gotten 6 vaccines. My grandson, by the time he's 18, will get 60 vaccines. And going back to the 1986 law, we were supposed to get biannual reports on their efficacy and their safety. And no one's even talking about mixing them all together, getting them 2 or 3 over a time. So I think that the parents have a right to know before anything is done to their child. And that's my major focus of the legislation, and the reason that I got myself involved with the medical freedom groups and with the unmasking of the children.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know there's a bill that you have up that was regarding the masking mandate, and I'm sure you've heard as of yesterday that at a state level, that has been lifted, and the governor is encouraging this to go to a district level. Can parents support that bill still? And how can we help that build momentum?
I would be very weary of that, and I know Assemblyman Weber and soon to be a Christian Assemblyman can answer that. But keep in mind, the ability to open schools in person was done and given to the governor at a district level, and how did that work out for many of those children? So we need leadership, and this governor is not giving us that type of leadership. Either masks are good or they're not good, and if you look at all the studies, especially on the very young children from 0 to 9. They don't carry it, they don't spread it, they don't get it. Okay, so why would you want to harness a young child like that with a with a mask? That way, that child can wind up, breathing his exhaust for the next 8 hours. And I think Jay and Christian could answer to that and could probably agree with some of that.
Yeah. So my question is to you, Assemblyman Weber, piggybacking off of what Felicia just said. We saw the announcement yesterday that masks will not be mandated in school come September, and the burden has now supposedly fell on the districts to determine whether they would be masking their children come September. Can you, one, give me your thoughts on that decision, and two, what parents can do within their district, or how would you encourage your constituents? We recently saw, when parents stood up in Randolph, New Jersey, how that, they were able to affect change. So can you speak to that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. And I mean, you made a great point about how parents can affect change. And I think the senator was hinting at that as well. The governor's announcement is just another kind of half measure, a half step. He seems to have to be dragged kicking and screaming to the right answers on these issues, especially when it comes to our children. Leaving this decision to the school districts is going to expose the school boards to incredible pressure from local and very powerful teachers unions, which is what happened this past year when the governor left the school boards twisting in the wind, and they got leveraged by very powerful unions who decided that they just weren't going to school. They weren't going to teach the kids in school, and they dictated to the school boards what was going to happen in cities like Elizabeth, where they just said, well, you can open the schools, but you're not going to have any teachers in them. So good luck with that. It's going to be all remote learning because we say so. And the only person who could really have done anything, that is nobody in Elizabeth, I think, could have done anything about that. The only person who could do anything about that was Phil Murphy.
Right.
And he opted out. He refused, and he gave a wink and a nod to the teachers unions, and the teachers unions ran with it. And I'm concerned it's a little bit of the same thing, although I think at this point, with the world opening up so much, and I had to fly on business today, and I actually walked in the airport. I had forgotten my mask because I happily left it behind, and I had to go scramble to get one because you still need to wear one in airports and on planes, right?
Right.
People are going to get so used to not masking their children that it will become unacceptable. But to your point, Rula, parents can absolutely make a difference. They need to speak up to their school boards, need to come armed as you do, as your group does, with science, with facts, and explain why this is a priority for them, that they don't want their kids muzzled in a classroom in the summertime or anytime, but especially when schools start up again and it's hot, that the school boards need to adopt the right policies. And we did see in Randolph how powerful those voices can be. And I would encourage everyone, especially parents, to contact their school boards and make sure that their local districts are doing the right thing, not being pressured by special interests, but rather thinking about the children in classrooms and starting the fall off the right way with children in schools without masks.
Great. We echo that same message. So thank you.
Yeah, and absolutely. And you both said it, you know, we are seeing an uptick in the magnitude of growth with this movement, and so many different issues are bringing it to the table and people are activating, and it's incredible to see the grassroots nature of it, and it's affecting change. So very, very valid points. So Christian, so the question for you is, if elected, what would be your first marching orders in District 26 or for the state?
Well, I've from the very start of getting involved in government, I have said the same thing, and that is we need to expand, we need to incentivize the private sector in the state of New Jersey. The state of New Jersey has an enormous public sector, and that's the driving force behind the costs that drive up our taxes. So first and foremost, when I take office, hopefully it'll be January and we'll be past this mask thing. That's my hope. I would like to say something about what Senator Joe and Assemblyman Jay were just saying about the masks and what parents can do about the masks. And I'm going to use the metaphor of my election. So I had an opponent that thought that this election was going to be decided from the top down. In other words, get everybody at the top on your side and everybody underneath will fall in line. That's not how it works. And I'm proof positive. Get everybody at the bottom and come up. And that's exactly what parents need to do. You don't need to contact your boards of education. You need to go to your Board of Education meetings in person and tell them what you think. Cause them to say, hey, these people are here and they're all saying the same thing. So we're going to have to address these people. Because if we don't go to their meetings and we don't say what we want, they don't know how serious we are about it. But when we show up and we tell them what's up, they start to say, hey, we better listen to these people. And then if they don't listen, local people need to run for Board of Education. It doesn't take much. Some Board of Education people get elected with 30, 40 votes. Some people get elected with 15 votes. It's got to happen. And the only people who can make it happen is us, period. Because the people at the top have proven, Phil Murphy and his whole gang have proven that they don't care what the parents want. They care what the NJEA wants. And the NJEA does not raise your children. You do. So hopefully when I get there, it'll be all taken care of. But the long haul of my candidacy is private sector economic growth. It is the only way we are going to get out of the dependency that we have on public sector economy, which we pay for. We can't do it anymore. We have to have inside people on the outside who believe in New Jersey, who invest in New Jersey and put us to work, not on the government's dime, but on private equity's dime. And that's a big deal. And I want to work very hard on that.
Excellent. Thank you. We're excited to see and follow your successes. So we put together some quick fire questions to tell our community or show our community who you really are, to get better acquainted with you. And this is just meant to be light and fun. So I'm going to start with Senator Pernaccio.
No, I just am going to ask the panelists, we're getting some messages that there's a little bit of echo. So if we can mute our microphones when we are not speaking. And I will take the first set of questions for Senator Pernaccio. All right, Senator. So let the audience know, what was your first paid job in life?
Delivering newspapers, daily news.
Okay.
New York, obviously.
Any memberships that you are proud of?
Here at New Jersey State Senate.
Amazing. Who is your favorite music artist?
Oh, Janis Joplin.
Janis Joplin, that's a good one. Do you have any pets?
Well, unfortunately, Betsy, who was around for well over a dozen years, passed on a number of years ago. So when after Betsy left, we decided no Betsy's, no more dogs.
I'm so sorry to hear that. And final question, who is your favorite president, or who was your favorite president?
It's probably my all-time favorite president is Abraham Lincoln. And I got a sense I know how Jay's going to answer this question. But recently, Ronald Reagan, of course. And I am a little partial to Donald Trump.
All right. Very good. That's it. You breezed right through them. Thank you. So, Felicia?
Yep. Assemblyman Weber, you can come off mute. I don't know if you're off mute. Okay.
Yep.
So, what are your favorite vacations, summer vacations that you've taken with your family, the places that you've traveled?
We did two favorite vacations. We did the Great American Vacation Northern Route to Yellowstone a few years ago through the Badlands of South Dakota, and just had a great time. And then a little shorter trip up through New England into Acadia National Forest, which is just stunning. The coast of Maine was everything I had dreamed it would be. It was a kind of a bucket list item. So we've done a couple of those, like Griswold family vacations. You know, we jump in the van, we go. And they've been great. And we're trying to put another one together, the southern route through Nashville and out to the Grand Canyon, back home through Colorado Springs to see our daughter at the academy late this summer. So we have a beautiful country, and I'm always just blown away every time we get out and just see the rest of the United States, how diverse and beautiful it is. So those are some of our best memories as a family.
Excellent. I have been to Arcadia, and it was absolutely beautiful. And I would love to go to Yellowstone. I have a friend that was just there and sent me pictures that were amazing, and their excursions were great. But I just cannot. I just have to understand. I have 4 children. I can't imagine how you travel with. Did you say 8?
Well, we did it with 7.
Okay.
And the last one we did, Johanna was very pregnant. There was 7 and a very pregnant wife, and she was amazing. So yeah, we'll be doing it with 7 this year. You know, number 1 is off to college, so the 2 through 8 will be with us.
And that's beautiful that you get that time together.
Yeah.
So next question is, where did you go to grammar school?
I went in Clifton, school number 1 through 6th grade, and then Christopher Columbus Middle School. A proud alumni, and I'm a proud alumnus of Christopher Columbus, and will fight like heck to make sure they don't change that name.
Right. Good. Thank you. And what historic figures do you especially admire?
So many. The founders, that generation, of course, Abraham Lincoln. In the 20th century, St. Maximilian Kolbe, who was a hero priest out of Auschwitz. We actually named our second son after St. Maximilian Kolbe. And I had the honor and incredible privilege of meeting John Paul II, John Paul the Great, twice before he passed. And I think he's just a titan of our age. And, I deeply, deeply admire him.
Well, that's special. That's really special. What do you like to do when you're not working or servicing?
I am chasing children around baseball fields and swimming pools. My daughters are swimmers. My boys love baseball, and when I'm particularly indulgent, I coach them. So I was able to coach my 9-year-old in Little League baseball this spring, and if I had all the money in the world and that's all I would probably just coach Little League and call it a life. But and then when I'm not doing the kid stuff, my one, I think, guilty pleasure is the New York Football Giants. We've had season tickets in the family for over 60 years, and I get to probably more games than I should, but I love them, and now I've got the kids hooked on them too. So I don't know if that's to my credit or to my immense fault, but we do enjoy ourselves there at those games.
Excellent. Thank you. Last question. what sports car would you own or drive if you could?
Do they make them that they carry 8 kids at once? Or no?
You need like
I don't know. I've always been partial to the Mustang. Clifton was the Mustangs, and it's just a pretty cool muscle car. So I enjoy the Mustang.
I think, in our time it was like IROCs and Mustangs and
That's it. Yep, Camaros, right? Yeah.
All right, great, thank you.
Sure.
All right, Christian, you are up.
I had a Mustang GT, by the way.
Oh, nice. What is your favorite food?
Okay, so when I was 2 years old, my mother had to take a job. So I got sent with my paternal great-grandmother, who was born in Cuba before the Spanish-American War. So she was a Spanish subject when she was born, and she fed me Cuban food all day, every day, and it's still with me.
I knew someone with the same last name as you, and they were Cuban as well. Her name was.
Oh, really? Wait, in New Jersey?
In New Jersey.
Wow, you got to introduce me to him.
Yeah, I wonder if you're related. We'll have to find out. Biggest pet peeve.
So one of the things that really gets under my skin in a big way is manipulative people. And I'm sure I'm going to run into it in the assembly, but Machiavellianism, people that say one thing and do another, double speak, just con artists, really have a bad problem with those types of people, really bad.
Yeah, I have a feeling you'll be running into some of that.
I can't wait. They're going to hate my guts.
So you might be triggered a little bit if that's your biggest pet.
I'll control myself.
Your favorite Netflix series?
So anything to do with military history, right? We have Netflix here at the house, but we do YouTube TV. And whenever I go onto Netflix, it's some sort of military history show. They have some great stuff on Netflix on that stuff. And I can spend hours on there watching history shows.
Favorite location to vacation in New Jersey?
Okay, so 30 years ago, I'm a Jersey kid. So 30 years ago, it would have been Wildwood. And now it's Cape May. So simple.
Not too far apart. You're just a few minutes.
Very simple. Jersey's not big. It's not big. So
yeah, 2 excellent spots. We vacation.
And a distant third place is Seaside Heights. Very distant.
Yeah, that was a high school favorite, but now we vacation in Sea Point Village in Wildwood. So it's an annual trip for us.
Wildwood Crest.
A little bit different. And will you be a lifelong New Jersey resident?
That's the plan. We have work to do.
Right? There is work to do.
I mean, one of the ththings I said, going door to door was, because people always want to know, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Because my kids are not going to be able to stay here.
Yeah.
And we're creating that problem for them. So the plan is to be here. Listen, I am Jersey through and through to the core. Everywhere I go, everybody knows like that. This guy's from Jersey.
Right.
So I want to be here. My family's here. My mother is still here. Thankfully for me, I thank God for her. I'm a mama's boy, and I want to be here.
So while we were, thank you all for giving us a little bit of a peek into your personal lives and to learn more about you. But I have a bonus question for you all, and I want and probably something our viewers want to hear, the people who are on tonight. And, if you can give me a brief answer, what does medical freedom mean to you? If we can start with you, Senator, just what does it mean to you when you hear that term?
To me, it means that ultimately you have the right to decide whether or not you want to ingest or have a medicine injected into you, and certainly it is your profound right to decide that for your children. It means that there should be science and data behind anything that we ingest or inject. It means to me that science and data should be ongoing because science changes. That's what that means to me. And I feel very strongly about that because we're just going on month number 15 or 16 of this pandemic from a governor that promised that his public policies would be based on science and data. And we are still waiting to hear from that. Unfortunately, the results have been horrendous.
Right. Excellent. Yep. Assemblyman Weber.
Yeah, I mean that's a philosophical question. I'll try to give you a quick answer, but I mean it means that it's a freedom, a concept that is on par with other freedoms we regularly think of when we think of the freedoms guaranteed to us as Americans. I mean, our country is founded on the concept that the individual and families come first. Civil society comes first, and government exists to protect the rights and freedoms of individuals and families and to foster and protect civil society. And that's why our Constitution was written the way it was, and why certain rights were guaranteed to us, including, for example, the right to worship, or the right to speak, or the right to govern ourselves. Well, medical freedom is another one of those rights that is guaranteed to us as citizens, as human beings, and we have a right to make informed, intelligent decisions about how we take care of our bodies, and of course how we raise our children and how they take care of theirs. So, I think we need, as legislators, to always keep that concept paramount, in the same way we keep people's rights to speak and worship paramount, their rights to take care of their health and make medical decisions for themselves. Those are paramount as well.
Thank you. Yeah, certainly a constitutional issue.
Did you want to respond?
Did you call on me, Rula?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I muted before I finished. Yes, please.
So you're asking me to answer a question that 30 years of legislative experience have just answered? I'll give you a good answer. As individuals, our bodies are our only temple. It is the last place that we have complete control over. No one, and especially no government, should ever have a say as to what we permit into our bodies. People say it's about religion, and it is about religion. But at the end of the day, it's about an individual having the sovereign right to say, I don't want that. And that's it. The organism that is our bodies is ours, very, very sacredly ours. We are the only one who control it. We are the only one who own it. No one knows our bodies better than we do. And I'm never going to break that.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for being so gracious and giving us your time. We know that the community has already supported you, and we're encouraging them tonight to get behind supporting you even further, specifically in this district, and outwardly as well. We really thank you again for coming on with us tonight. We're excited to again endorse you as our first legislative district for the 2021 very pivotal, very exciting election. So if there's no other further comments, then we'd love to, we'd be able to say goodnight and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.